Hi, my name is Emily Kolp, and this is my final presentation for Intro to Education. Um, if you couldn't tell by the big bold letters, my presentation is about discrimination within a classroom. So let's begin. Oh, I'm in the way. Hold on. Let me move. There we go. Uh, Specifically, why did I gravitate toward these issues? There are many different types of discrimination within a classroom. There is religious discrimination, racial, gender, sexual, all different kinds of discrimination. But today, specifically, I would like to talk about gender discrimination, and that is not just discrimination against women. I'm talking about LGBT trans discrimination. I want to talk about this issue mainly because I've had many friends. I don't know why I put past tense. They're still my friends. I've had friends who had to deal with these hurtful kinds of behaviors from other students, not necessarily teachers, but other students. Um, yeah, not many teachers are the cause of these issues nowadays, but other students who feel that it is okay to bully or do disgusting name of a trans person when speaking to them or about them to others, or even purposefully using this person's wrong pronouns just to, and I've heard this said, that's why that's in quotes, remind them of their biology. I've heard that said. I don't know why. I just want it out of my head. For me, this issue hits close to home because of my friends who I love dearly, and that is why I would like to address this for my presentation. And I'm in the way yet again. Hold on. Oh boy. Here we go. That's much better. All right. And a little bit of background. The Title 9, I think that is 9 in Roman numerals. Title 9 of the Education Amendments of 1972, this prohibits sex discrimination. It means that schools aren't allowed to discriminate against anyone, where they are students, staff, or whoever else it belongs to a school based on their gender. This leaves equal access to sports and other school sponsored activities, like field trips, for example. And this is mainly pertaining to the US. Don't, I didn't think it said that it pertained elsewhere, but specifically in the US, every primary, secondary, colleges, both undergraduate and graduate, as well as universities, have to comply with Title IX. There are schools that could be exemplified from this act are those that are single gendered, such as an all girls private school or an all boys private school. My bad. Um, and since this act was in the 70s, when I was reading through it, I did not see anything specified towards trans individuals. And I am still in the way. Oh my god. There we go. Yeah, that works. All right. Why is this still an issue in education? And I wanted to answer this question based on my own personal experience since I did come out of high school halfway through last year. So it hasn't been too long since I've been in high school. I believe it's still an issue pertaining between students specifically. Those with different thoughts and beliefs, we all grow up. That's why people have different religions, sexual orientations, whatever. We all grow up with different beliefs, and that can be okay. But sometimes these different thoughts and beliefs uh, surrounding the discussion of biology, whether there's two genders or more. I've heard this discussion way too many times to count. And I've seen it argued in person while I was in high school way too many times to count. It's still an issue because it leaves students who aren't cisgendered and Um, in case you don't know what cisgendered is, and this isn't to make anyone feel dumb, it's just sometimes you just don't know a term, and that's okay. Um, cisgendered are those individuals who feel that they are okay in their bodies, like they're assigned gender at birth. You know, if you're born a man, you're a man. If you're born a woman, you are a woman. So that's okay, and that's okay. There's nothing bad about it. But these students who aren't cisgendered feel unsafe in a classroom, that their rights as human beings are being discussed right next door or in their own classroom, and it's made into an argument over whether they deserve to walk freely and use a bathroom in public. And these discussions bring out like panic attacks, anxiety, like should I get myself involved? Will I maybe come out by accident? Sometimes if you're not out, you're just really scared of something happening, and that lead to other things. But for me, as a teacher, even though they may not start these conversations or they may not participate, it's their duty to make every single student feel safe and inclusive in their classroom, okay? And because it feels so much hard to work and get things done when you don't feel safe at all. So that is a teacher's responsibility in these situations. Um, the implications surrounding this issue, or by my standard, the conclusion essentially. Most often, trans students experience harassment based on gender identity, stereotypes that surround what gender they are, and stigma related to being trans. In this case, a question that could be asked: what would happen if a trans student tries to turn to Title IX, but it doesn't apply? It no longer applies to trans students. They then become less likely to report harassment and are more likely to suffer from mental health issues. Academic and professional consequences can be more likely to lead them to drop out. And I actually have a story, for example. When I was, I believe, a junior in high school, my friend, who I love dearly, he's amazing, he's great. His pronouns are he, they, or no, he, him. My brain is a blob. It's okay though. But he was posted on our drama wall because he was like our thespian officer. And because his pronouns are he, him, someone thought it would be funny to write over them she, her. And I do not quote me on this. I believe they also wrote his dead name over his name too, which is absolutely not okay. And I would understand if he didn't feel safe to report it. He did though, which is more than I thought he would, because that can be very scary, you know? And that happened just like 2 years ago. These issues are still going on, and I'm still very concerned about what would happen, and a reason why I want to be a teacher is so that way I can make sure these students feel safe. But yeah, that concludes my presentation. And if you wanted to, these are all my citations. If you wanted to go on and read about them issues, I have the first one is about gender discrimination. The second is sexual orientation discrimination. Next is learning students with learning disabilities, that kind of discrimination, and then racism in schools, and then specifically anti-trans discrimination in a classroom. So if you just want to learn more about yourself, or not about yourself, but more about it by yourself, you can go ahead. All right. Thank you.